But what if that is not actually true? What if someone taught you to be this way, slowly, quietly, over years, and neither of you even realized it was happening? Because here is what nobody wants to say out loud. Anxiety does not always start in your head. Sometimes it starts in a house, where peace never lasted long enough to feel real, where you learned to read the room before you learned how to relax in it, where a door closing too hard was never just a door, where silence was not peaceful, it was the thing that came right before the explosion, where you figured out real quick that the safest thing to do was just stay alert, ready, stay aware. That is how you stay safe. That is not anxiety. That is survival. But you did not know that when you were a kid. You just thought that was normal. You thought everyone checked their parents' face before asking for something. You thought everyone listened to footsteps on the stairs and knew exactly who it was and what it meant. You had no idea you were turning into this hyper-aware little sensor, constantly reading the emotional temperature of every room you walked into. And then you grew up. You moved out. Everything changed, except your body did not get the memo. The habits stayed. And now people look at you and say you're anxious, too sensitive, overthinking everything, and you start believing them. They don't understand why you send a simple text message and then reread it 17 times, wondering if you sounded rude. Why someone says, "Hey, can we talk later?" and your entire body goes into full panic mode, even though they probably just want to know what's for dinner. Why you apologize for things you didn't even do, just to keep the peace, just to make sure nobody is upset with you. You know that thing where you replay a whole conversation in your head at like 2 in the morning, going over every single word you said, trying to find the exact moment you messed up and ruined everything? Or when you send a voice message and immediately regret it because what if your tone sounded wrong? What if they misunderstood? What if you just made everything weird? Yeah, that's not you being dramatic. That's your brain still living in a place where one wrong sentence could change everything, and you learned to catch it before it happened. And here's the part that actually breaks you down over time. You have spent so much energy managing everyone else's emotions, keeping everyone comfortable, making sure nobody gets upset, that you don't even know what you feel anymore. You're so used to shape-shifting into whatever version of yourself feels safest in the moment that you have lost track of who you actually are underneath all of it. You just know you're exhausted, and you have no idea why. That is not a flaw. That is what you were trained to do. And the worst part, you start thinking maybe they're right. Maybe you are just like this. But here's what everyone is missing. You are not broken. You just learned to survive in a place where the emotional weather changed without warning, where love existed, sure, but calm did not, where you were taken care of in all the ways people could see, but you were also walking on eggshells every single day, trying not to step on invisible bombs. And I know this is hard to sit with, because the people who taught you this probably weren't trying to hurt you. They might have loved you. They might have done everything they knew how to do, but they also made you grow up in a place where your nervous system learned that rest was dangerous, that letting your guard down meant you would get hurt, that peace was temporary, and you had to stay ready for when it ended. So even now, when your life is actually quiet, some part of you is still listening, still watching faces, still waiting for the shift, still bracing for the moment it all falls apart. Not because you're too much, not because you're broken, because you were trained and your body still thinks the threat is real. But once you see it like that, something shifts. You stop hating yourself for being hyper-aware, and you start understanding that you adapted to something that was not safe. You stop calling it anxiety and start calling it what it actually was: survival. You were not born walking on eggshells. Someone taught you where to step, and you can teach yourself to walk differently now.